Hey everybody! Well, that sprung up on me a bit fast. I was actually looking at my phone, which is there's a slight delay. So it is so good to have you all here with us this evening. Thank you for joining our first masterclass in quite a while. We used to do these every month, and we've taken a little break from them just to try some new things. And I think me and the whole team, or should I say, the whole team and I, are really, really grateful to be back and excited to be back and to share these evenings with you. It's a shorter masterclass than usual. We are going to be here tonight, Tuesday night. We're going to be here Wednesday and Thursday, and then that's it. We're done. So from 7 to 8 every night, tune in, set aside this time for yourself. I know we've attracted a lot of people to this masterclass, particularly because of what it's called, the Law of Attraction Masterclass. We said, like the ad on television for the paint, it says Ron Seal. It says it does exactly what it says on the tin. So this is exactly what we do. We help people to use something that became quite a big buzzword in the late 90s, early noughties, which was the law of attraction. It seemed as though it just burst into the scene in this huge, huge thing. I know some people have been studying it for decades, but it really grew in this huge popularity, especially around the launch of a movie called The Secret. And then it's everywhere and anywhere. And we've done an awful lot of different masterclasses around lots of different things. And we just said, what do we call this one? And we just said straight up, let's call it a Law of Attraction Masterclass. In my intro here for this evening, I said, could it really be? I mean, could it possibly, I can't see it now because it won't let me go back on my phone to see it. But, I just kind of free flowed in the comments above this video. I was like, could it possibly be? Could it really be real? I was kind of being that voice in your head. I remember my first time really stumbling upon this whole concept that a person could change their life just by kind of working on themselves a little bit came from a bit of desperation. I was living in Cork City at the time. I was in college with my girlfriend, who is now my wife, and we had a break into the pub that we were working in, and for some reason they put this probably 11 stone skinny fella in his 20s as the manager. So these big, brutish, strong, tough, streetwise guys from the city in Cork decided they've had lovely pints and loads of T-bone steaks, and then I just put the bill on the table, and they literally like threw me around like a rag doll and left. So I went through a bit of a panic, anxiety phase for a little while afterwards. And there was one day I was walking from, if you know Cork City, the area where the College of Institute of Technology Cork is, out that area, Wilton and Bishopstown. I was walking from there to the bar that I used to work in. And about halfway was a roundabout near the Cork University Hospital. There's this big tree in the middle of the roundabout. I think there is. But anyway, maybe there's a tree just on the side, on the footpath. And I was standing there, my heart thumping, my stomach in knots, and I felt like I was in concrete. Couldn't go back to my girlfriend because she'd be nervous, and I couldn't go down to work because I didn't want to go to work. I was too nervous. And then along came this number 8 bus. I think it's still the same route, the number 8. And I just flagged it down, ran around the corner, jumped on, and I went to town. And I went into a shop in the city called Waterstones. And I remember like having a coat and pulling up the hood and pulling up the hat and kind of walking around and seeing, was there something in there that I could buy that would give me help? And I bought a book called Don't Sweat the Small Stuff by Richard Carlson. Don't sweat the small stuff because it's all small stuff. And I would hide this book under my pillow. I was living with my wife, but there was also other people. And, if they ever came in to borrow something, or a CD, as we used to have back then, or whatever, and they saw the book, I'd be embarrassed because it was a self-help book. Oh, my God. Oh, dear, And now I roll on years later. It's my day job. It's my philosophy in the mornings. It's how I start my days. It's how I interact with pretty much everything that I do. There's a song by an Irish band called the Riptide Movement, and the song says it all works out. It just goes, it all works out. And since incorporating these laws, the law of vibration, the law of cause and effect, the law of attraction, these universal laws that are happening with as much frequency, with as much force as the law of gravity. And the law of gravity, of course, is one that we believe in openly because we discuss it all the time. You'll fall as a child. You'll learn the law of gravity very early in your life. But many people will go from the day of their birth till their last day on this earth, never really having a lovely time living their life with the law of attraction, with the law of vibration, the law of cause and effect, the law of opposites, the law of polarity, the law of gender, all of these laws that the great creator of this world and the universe and everything else around made laws of gravity we believe in and we work with, but law of vibration, law of attraction, that's only for, people who are a bit lost in life and they're a bit silly and they're just daydreamers. And people can hold on to that all they want. But what I say about this Facebook group that we're all part of, there's like 2,500 people here, and I think we all share something in common, and it's that this resonates with us. We believe there's some truth in it, but what I know for a lot of people that we meet initially is that their journey with the law of attraction is a little bit like most golfers with their golf clubs. They go into the shed and they stay there until some fella texts them on a Friday night and it's going to be sunny tomorrow. Will you go for a game? Yeah, sure, come on. And the golf clubs come out then, especially around the British Open. The golf clubs seem to come out a lot more. It's like they stay in the garage all year long and then they'll come out for a couple of times a year. That's the way some people, like, they might tell a friend or they might meet somebody who's reading a book on a bus or a train or a plane and go, do you read that? Do you like those books? Yeah, I like those too. And a little bit of a chat goes on and that's about it. So you're among friends here. Myself, my team, my friends, my wife, my children, like, we live our life talking about believing things are going to work out for us. And really, it's not as simple as that. Or sorry, it's not as, what will I say, as, just nonchalant like that. We really, we look at the deep down sciences of it and try and get better at using it all of the time. Now, I came into this information really well prepared for finding out how stuff works. From when I was a little boy, if there was a huge bunch of fairy lights that came out of the attic that were not put away correctly the year before, given to Declan, and I would just, like a dog with a bone, I would not stop until it's done. My mom or my sister, on a special occasion, might be putting on a nice piece of jewelry, and perhaps they had it just thrown in a jewelry box for months, and then it got all tangled up. Sit Declan down with a little darning needle or a needle you'd have for sewing, and I will rip that out. So I love finding out how things work. I love getting down into the roots of things. And I came into this information in two steps. The first one was I had really crippling back pain, and I became an acupuncturist in order to help take people's pain away in the same way that everything else failed and acupuncture worked. So when I learned that this worked for me, I knew in the back of my mind eventually I would train or in some way learn how to do it. And I did, and I worked in that industry for 10 years. Now, I made a lot of people feel better, but I had a lot of pressure at the time because I wanted to move on with my life as a husband and a dad and build a house and stuff like that. And it was a career. Maybe we've attracted some therapists here, some holistic wellness therapists here and practitioners and to our course this week. I hope you're not like I used to be, but sometimes we can find, it might be a stereotype or whatever, but we can find that sometimes people in that industry are not very good at charging. So I was like, you're grand, don't worry about it. As long as you got better, that's all that matters to me. But, the bank, they didn't like that type of currency. They wanted to see money. The accountant wanted money, that every different supplier, my landlord, everything, my children, everyone needs money. So I was pretty much running a break-even business for a while and healing everybody, but the pain of not having enough money was getting to me. So I hired a coach. I knew I needed a coach. I knew I needed something, but I actually stumbled upon Bob Proctor. And Bob Proctor, who I'm photographed with just there, who sadly passed away this year. I would, call him a friend, and I'm very, very privileged to have met him and worked with him. And my new studio out here in my back of my home is nearly finished. And the night it wasn't the night he died, but around that time, Bob's grandson Danny messaged me to say Bob was so excited to hear that you were building a studio in the back of your house, just like Bob. So if it wasn't for Bob Proctor, I wouldn't even have this house, because I started watching his material and he started talking about this book, Think and Grow Rich. And I hear an awful lot of people talking about this book, Think and Grow Rich. But this was the man that really, a lot of people say they read it and they do something with it, but their results would tell a different story. Bob read it every day for 60 years, not the whole book, but some of it. And he applied the principles every day. And not only did he do that, but he trained myself and hundreds of other people like me, a big fleet of consultants, to go out there and perfect our own knowledge of this information and apply it to our lives, lead by a good example, and then show up and do seminars and do webinars and do masterclasses and show the public how to do it, lead by example, speak about it, and just see where people want to go with it. I'm very honored to say I have a great team around me that helps me to do it now. I started this company on my own, and then all of my clients started kind of popping their heads up and going, can I work with you? And then there was others that I said, I really like the way you conduct yourself. I love being your coach. Would you join my team? So everybody pretty much in my company, with the exception of 2 people, started as a client and, a fan of the material, became a client of me and my company. And then we went on to form such a friendship and a relationship that they became part of the team. So I'm totally immersed in this information all the time. I use it for everything from being a dad, being a son to my parents who are getting on in life, being stuck in traffic, being frustratedly waiting for someone to get back to you in an email or whatever it may be. I use this for everything, for my health, my marriage, my own relationship with myself. And I'm going to do my absolute best over the next 2 days to really bring it into an everyday type of a vibe where you can totally relate to everyday situations and see how you can make these little changes to really feel like you've an awful lot of control in your life. So trying to break it down to 3 days is a challenge, no doubt about it. Our clients go on to study this 5 days a week at least. They study it definitely Monday to Thursday, because I see them every day on my live calls. We have a group of people that meet every morning at 6 o'clock by choice. You don't have to, but they do. And they choose to do their study knowing that there's about 30 or 40 or 50 of them there on Zoom together, but their cameras are off, their microphones are off, and they're working this information every morning. Some people who really want to get fit and healthy for maybe their wedding day, or maybe for, I don't know, something that's coming up, they might get a personal trainer for 10 or 12 weeks and really go at it with diet and nutrition. And then after the big event is over, they might just kind of slip back into old habits. Well, these people that I'm honored to train, and the way I live my life myself, is we've provided a company that provides the accountability and the opportunity for people to stay disciplined and not just do this for a small while, but incorporate this into your life. Because I don't know what age you are. I'm 42 now, and I was 35 when I first came upon this information. So if you subtract 7 from 35, you will get 28. Sorry, a long day. You'll get 28. So for 28 years, I was wandering around in the wilderness with blindfold on, because from when I was 7, I was programmed with all these beliefs, with all these stigmas, with all these rules. There's a guy called Vishan who runs Mind Valley, and he calls those rules brules, because they're BS rules. I won't say the word in case there's children listening, but they're rules, brules. He said people are going on all these brules. They're BS rules that you're conducting your life by and getting the results you do not want. So that was me, absolutely 100%. And when I followed this information for a couple of years on my own, with YouTube and with books, and never telling a soul about it, I was seeing little bits of growth. And it's almost like having a disease and having the cure and not actually reaching out and taking the cure. It was like I knew I needed help. So I needed someone to teach me. I was taught how to tie my laces. I was taught how to walk. I was taught how to write. I was taught how to drive. I was taught how to chop lemons and pull pints of Guinness and make Irish coffees when I worked in bars. I was trained in everything. But I wasn't training, nobody was training me on how to think. I was reading information that if you think about it, what you think about, you'll bring about. But nobody was showing me how to actually think until, by the grace of God, Bob Proctor showed up, and I started watching him, and he really made things work. But again, only a little bit better than it was, not a lot. And I kept asking and filling out contact forms, and eventually got a call with one of his consultants, and I nearly fainted because, there was a few thousand involved in becoming a client, and I didn't have any money at the time. In fact, I was gone into the old debt situation. So again, I tried it and I avoided that commitment. I didn't feel like I was, if I needed a car, I'd spend that money, or if I needed to go to America to see my brother, or Australia, or whatever, I'd spend that money. But I never thought about me as something that's valuable. My mindset, that my thoughts were valuable. When people have uncontrolled thoughts, they can do things that will ruin their lives. They can say things that will ruin friendships. When you're not in control of your thinking, you can create an awful lot of damage. It's worth every penny of every investment you ever put into it. And I put many tens of thousands into my mindset since that. But that key moment where I knew for 2 years I was trying on my own and it wasn't working, I looked at my darling wife. I said, like, there's a few grand in that MasterCard, isn't there? And she was like, yeah. I was like, look, I've been looking at this for 2 years and I know it's going to work. And I just can't do it on my own. I have no flipping discipline. And she was like, look, Dec, when have you ever done anything for yourself? Like, just go for it. You're working so hard to try and get there. Just do it. You might as well at this stage. And she'd heard me on these calls with people and they were like, this is going to change your life. And I'm like, Okay, I'll see you later. I was totally just ghosting and avoiding, but I was afraid. That's all it was. And I'll talk about that on Thursday. The fear of success and the fear of that. Who am I to do it? What about if I mess up? Like, I'll go through all that on Thursday, because we're going to present you with some really cool ideas, and you're going to be able to actually like taste the future. You're going to be like, oh my God, I'm doing this. But you're going to be like afraid then when the masterclass is coming to an end. You're going to be afraid to do this on your own because you don't identify as the person who's living that life. We're going to help you create it in the first 2 days. But it's so what's the word? It's so detached from who you are right now and the life you're living right now that the minute our support goes away and you're on your own, it eventually those habits go back and you just forget about it. So we're going to show you how fear cripples people when they know what's there. They know what they want so badly and they want to make it happen. But fear comes up like a nope, you can't do it. It's just right in front of your nose. And eventually you just go, okay, and you'll get onto TikTok or scroll on Facebook and you'll eventually forget about it. So we're going to do our best this week to really help you to sow this into your life, to really make this work for you all the time. So that's who I am. That's what I do. And that's what my team do. And it's literally all we do. And we're always talking about our goals. Our clients are creating great friendships with people that there's 2,500 in this group. In our client group, there's about 150 people. I live in a village. There's like 123 people here, and I think there's one other guy I would talk to about what I do. Everybody else doesn't really get it. So I know what it's like for you. So welcome to our community for the next couple of days. Get a taste of what we do, of how you can apply this to your life. We've got videos, we've got interviews with people who are doing it, people who've been watching our masterclasses, decided to take the next step, invest in themselves, become a client, and really apply this material to their business, to their marriage, to their health and fitness, to their confidence, to public speaking, to you know what? I like this phrase, but it's kind of a bit weird. Firing their boss, like they're leaving their job and saying, I'm done, and they're changing their career and starting their own company. We've got people who come to us for so many different reasons, but you know why we can help all of them? Because it's the thoughts that they're repeatedly thinking are bringing them the results they don't want, and they see us as a solution, as somebody who's going to help them to really work with their thoughts all of the time. I learned a wonderful technique this year from a great lady called Marissa Peer. I learned a technique which helps you to kind of get in there and clear out the pipes, like to get into your subconscious mind and clear away all those rules, all those BS rules, all those limiting beliefs, all those things that you say about yourself, those things that you think about yourself, those horrible things you wouldn't say to anybody else, but you say them in the quiet sanctity of your mind. And she helped me with certain techniques and certain meditations and things to obliterate these limiting beliefs that I had for decades and decades. But what I learned that I was bringing to people's life is once you've cleared out the pipes, you have this empty shell. So what we've been doing over the years is we've been pouring in visions and we've been helping people to create visions that they want. And it's honestly, it's like if you see, it's as basic as this. If someone sends you a picture of a holiday destination that they're at and you like it and you research it, you start getting emotionally involved with it, you book it, next thing you know, next summer, you're in that same spot and you're texting your friend, oh my God, it's everything you said it would be. That's literally the same process as what all of our clients do. Everyone that you're going to see, all the interviews here on the inside of the workbook, all these little quotes, they're real, very ordinary people. I'm sure they won't mind me saying that because they'll admit it themselves, but they're doing things in a very extraordinary way because they're keeping all of the physical, focus, concentration, frowning, stressing, nail biting. They've all those habits that they built, but now they've brought in a huge arsenal of new habits, which is getting emotionally involved in the outcome, taking action right away with whatever you have. Don't wait around to find the how. Get out there, make it happen. There's an awful lot of the law of attraction and the law of vibration where they get into a vibrational state of what they want, they take action on it, and all of a sudden, bam, they attract it so fast. And the greater frequency that you do that, the greater frequency that your body actually vibrates in, the more you attract. So that's why the luckier seem to get luckier and the rich seem to get richer. They haven't just got lucky or they haven't just got rich. They figured out how we are constantly sending out messages that are not getting us what we want. And they learn how to send out messages constantly to get them what they want. I frequently have to deny what my own two eyes are seeing, the pain, the worry, the stress, the doubt, the hopelessness in the situation, and smile into it. and just go, I know what the conscious mind is trying to tell me, but no problem. If I've seen the outcome that I want, it has to happen. It has to come into form. I'm so calm about it now because of years of doing it, but I had to start somewhere. And maybe tonight is your starting point where you're going to say, if anyone is going to teach me how to get like that level of confidence that thoughts become things, I want his knowledge. I want him to help me. And that's what we're here to do this week, to give you, you go in, you put on shoes, you walk around the shoe store, you test them out. You go drive a new car, you test it out. You want to test us out. Here we are. We're going to give you everything we have in the same authentic way. There might be we might stammer and stutter our way, but we're going to give it to you exactly as we do. We don't put on all the big shiny frills and try and impress you with gadgets and gizmos and all that. We teach this from the heart, and I really hope you'll get a lot out of it this week, okay? So what's that, a usual 20-minute introduction? There you go, 25 minutes. But look, it's important. You need to know who we are. You need to know what we're about so that you can really sit back and make this now about you for the rest of the next two and a half sessions, okay? So you need a workbook. If you haven't got one, don't worry. Any old page will do. There is me before the head shave. There is me now. But that's the Law of Attraction Masterclass, page 1. And then you get into the next page on the inside. And again, we're really grateful to people who've taken the opportunity in the past to send us their feedback. And we put it on our book. It's on our website and stuff like that. So I'm grateful to them. These are all graduates. And people actually, hang on, 5 of these actually did exactly what you did. They sat down. One guy came into a hotel seminar, but the other 5 sat down and watched a masterclass to see what's all this about. So the next thing we have is your little bit of homework, your little bit of house rules. So not rules, but a house rule. We want you to connect with your breakthrough coach. Okay, so we've got Yelena, Dushan, and Magdalena there, and I think some of you may be working as well with Jay, who's in our team as well. So whoever you're talking with from our team, stay in touch with them. Let them help you to really go through some of the stuff we're going to be going through. You might want to have a chat with them about it. They're your breakthrough coach. Be in touch with them. The second thing is be here every day at 7 o'clock. You've done it once. You only need to do it 2 more times. Then complete all the workbook and go through this checklist, because it's important that you do the written work. Everybody watches in nowadays and they listen along, but really do the writing, because that's where it's going to start working for you from today onwards, okay? And then we want you to also engage in the group. Type away in the comments. Let us know how you're getting on. I'm sure there's loads of chatting going on over there. I'll have a look in a minute. But right now I'm going to keep focusing on the teaching because I only have an hour. At 8 o'clock, you've got the interview coming in with one of my team are going to be interviewing some of the guys that have been to our academy before. So let's get into day 1. And you actually have 2 of these sheets, right? This is the first one and this is the second one. So you can kind of doodle away on this one. This one here is 2 envelopes at the end, and this is the main one. So this is the one I want you to keep. So you can write in this later on tonight, but this is the one you can doodle on right now, and you're going to work along with me as I'm describing. I'm describing how we do this and everything. So let's start off, okay? I would like you to write down on a piece of paper for yourself privately, or better again, why not comment into our Facebook chat. What is the one problem that you would love to shift? I mean, I could talk about, what's the one thing you'd love to create, but what we need to do is we need to really get honest with ourselves, and we need to start bringing out into the public or just into your own life something. You can text your success advisor, you can text your breakthrough coach about what it is if you don't feel like sharing it. What is the one thing that's holding you back in your life, would you say? Is it lack of self-confidence? Do you have low self-esteem? Do you not know how to begin your new journey? How to change your life? Do you not know how? Do you feel you don't have enough money? Do you feel a little bit bound by responsibilities like children, a spouse, a mortgage? What are the things that are holding you back from living your dream? You see something on Netflix, you go, I'd love to do that. What is stopping you from doing that every day? Days roll into weeks and months. Sometimes you have to ask yourself, is it September or October? And it's smack bang, we're just gone over the middle of October. Where did September go? Time flies. You look at these goals and visions, you probably had them coming into 2022. This is it, I've been locked down for 2 years. We're coming out of it now. I tell you, I'm going to change my life. And 10 months on, have you? So what do you think is really holding you back? Is it that negative partner that's always like, what's that rubbish you're watching? Who do you think you are? Is it because some of us have them in our lives, what is that one thing that's holding you back? Let's see. The money mindset, Malachi, specifically retaining money that I bring in. I grew up in a household where money was always tight. So you actually probably, you gave us one of the questions, Malachi, but you also even gave everybody the answer, because you said that retaining money is what's holding you back. But then you gave us one of the major causes. You grew up in an environment where money was always tight. So you're telling us a little bit of what I'm going to be teaching. You're dead right. That is a main cause of it. So therefore, you're not entirely responsible for that happening to you. You learned that in an environment when you were a little baby up until you were about 7. Your subconscious mind was open and you were taking in all these facts and all these things all of the time. But you're not responsible for that programming that you went through, but you're the only one responsible in changing it in you right now. Any book you buy, any guru that you will hire to teach you, or anybody who'd hypnotize you, or anything to try and change your money mindset, you're the only person responsible for taking the decision and making the decision that you're going to change your relationship with money. I would recommend you do that, because there's something really lovely about having good money in the hands of good people, because I would imagine you're going to do some good things with it, Malachi. So we'll talk an awful lot more. Money is trying to find us. Money wants to be sent through good people out and to do good things. So yeah, we're going to help you a lot with that this week. Hey, Declan, geez, I love your name. How's it going? Less procrastination and more action. So yeah, you'd like to be a person who feels that they procrastinate a lot less. Okay. So again, I would like you to take some time tonight when you're brushing your teeth, looking in the mirror, and just please forgive yourself for any feelings that you've held on to, that you're a procrastinator. I can assure you, in front of all 50-something people that are watching live and all the people watching the replay, hand on heart, I never met this gentleman, but I know for a fact, I know for an absolute certainty, he never enrolled in a course on learning how to become a procrastinator. I guarantee you. Am I right, Declan? Did I use my crystal ball correctly? You never studied it. You never even trained in it. You don't even know somebody who teaches it. You know why? Because nobody does. I'm going to explain to you tonight and tomorrow why we procrastinate, why we avoid, why we sabotage. And the thing is, I shouldn't say we, because it's not us that's doing it. It's this wonderful program that Bob taught the whole world, called The Paradigm. He showed us how you change that, you'll change anything. Like, think of the great mentors you've had, your parents, an uncle, an auntie, a grandparent, a golf instructor, a swimming instructor. Think of somebody who's so good at what they do that they stood beside you and they said, look, I'm not telling you your business, no, but if you just did this a little bit, that would work better. It's like you do it and it's like, oh my God, thanks so much. That sounds like easy. You've all been through that, tying a lace, hitting a golf shot, whatever it could be, swimming, your swimming form, like you're putting, even such a silly thing. When we were children, we used to play, the game Ludo, myself and my 2 sisters and my brother. So it was perfect. There was 4 of us there. Ludo had 4 spaces. Rainy day in South Kerry in the 1980s, 1990s. It was board games, there was no Mario or anything like that. So we were playing it. And then my mom walked in one day and like, we've been playing this thing for years. And mom came in and told us we were doing it wrong. Because what we would do is shake the dice, throw it out on the thing. We'd leave your little box where you had your 4 counters, and we'd go out into go, and we'd run right up to our home. Like in one go, it was done, instead of going all the way around the board and getting caught. Like, so when my mom came along and did a simple instruction, we had much more enjoyment out of the game for years more, right? Stupid thing, but there we go. We were ignorant in the rules of the game, and my mom showed us. That's all it takes. And that sounds so babyish and so silly, but that is exactly what every single person who might go, oh, thank you, Declan, and thanks to the team, and thank you, Bob Proctor, and all this stuff, all they got to do is say they took responsibility for how they were going to think for the rest of their life. Regardless of the age they were at, they said, this yoke is working 80,000 times a day, and I'm using it wrong. And if I start using it right, everything gets better. That's it. They're the people that did it. How did they change it? A new set of wishes, a new set of dreams. Turned off the flipping Coronation Street for a few days, turned off TikTok for a couple of days, just did the damn work. You've been putting 28, 38, 48, 58 years into doing the work that's getting you the results you don't want. If you can't put a few blooming hours into this week, I'm sorry, but you don't deserve those dreams that are avoiding you. Like, they're not going to fall into your lap. You've got to attract them through certain means. So Start to make a couple of little sacrifices this week. Get rid of some of the things that are not serving you and listen to how it so easily can start to work for you. So Declan, you're not a procrastinator. You are consciously aware that you've got a programming inside that gets you to sabotage and procrastinate a little bit. Probably a bit of a fear of success in there, my man. Probably a little bit of fear of failure. Maybe you're not even really in love with the thing that you think you're procrastinating on. Sometimes people easily procrastinate on projects for college or school because they don't really have a goal for what am I going to do when I get this project. You know, we're beings that are really turned on by rewards. You know, bears climb up the side of cliffs and mountains and put themselves close to death to grab that honey, because when they put that honey in their mouth, they're like, oh my God. We're not too removed from that. We love a reward. And if you're attaching something, Declan, to the activity that's rewarding to you, you'll never procrastinate. Like, that's it. You're not a procrastinator, but no one's ever taught you how to really change that. Amy, self-confidence and not loving myself. Well, my dear, we need to turn that around. What I loved about you is you were the first person to start saying, hi, everybody. And then there was all these hearts coming in. So, you know, that's it. You're forever endeared yourself to me, because on the first day of the first masterclass in ages, you were the first one to make comments and everyone was sending hearts and how are you, Amy, and all that. So we love you. Not loving yourself, again, is probably picked up along the way. A lot of people are like, you know, we're teased in school. I'm only joking. I'm only messing. Don't take it so personally. You know, those people also have their own low self-esteem. So at a very, very early age, we take on board these sayings and things about ourselves. It's gone so far as to, I really wasn't feeling very confident at helping people with acupuncture when it came to difficulties with fertility. I lacked confidence. I was great with sports, and like a lot of women's issues, I was okay with treating with acupuncture. But when it came to conceiving, I just really, I felt it was too much of a responsibility, if I'm honest. And I found experts, and I would refer away. I lacked that kind of confidence in it, Amy. But then I decided I would go out there and I would find the best in the world and learn from them. That's what I've done with everything that I've ever learned, like Bob Proctor or whatever. And one of the things I learned from that woman, she was responsible for helping Kate Winslet conceive her first child, and then that threw her into stardom. Her name was Zita West. And she told me and about 100 other people in the room, every other one of them women, apart from me, it's like they were doing a roll call. Declan? Yes. And like 99 heads turn around. But she told me, and she told all the women that were there that day, the amount of people who were having difficulties purely because of certain things that were uttered to them in their teenage years, or maybe during some sort of an inspection or some sort of a treatment, where someone would go, oh, well, because of that, now you could have difficulty. And this was burning away in their minds. I'm not saying it's the sole responsibility or the sole reason, of course, but this woman has seen so many cases that she was starting to see it. And I know Marissa Peer as well will talk about that with rapid transformational therapy. She would mention as well, there's people who purely qualify with Marissa to specialize in changing the mindset around fertility and helping people to go on and therefore conceive against the where Western medicine has failed. You know, all my children go right through Western medicine. Don't think I'm against it. I'm not. But this is just my experience from real life people. Okay, so Amy, if you can change, you've probably like that. I'm using that example, Amy, to show you just how negatively and positively impactful thoughts can be. Like it affected Malachi's relationship with money, as he said himself. It's affected Declan's effectiveness with tasks. It's affected your love of yourself. People say we're created in God's image. Why would God want anyone to hate themselves? You know, why? Like society and the way people are raised. Like I train children at soccer, and it's such a subtle thing, but every coach that I work with, I teach them how to say exactly what they have said to the child, with less aggression, with less demands, with less confusion. It's reward. Just tell them, okay, this is what I'd like you to do. I'm going to tell you what I'd like you to do differently to what you just did, okay? But just hear me out for a second. Wouldn't it be great if you could do this, this, and this? Yeah. Okay, well, there now you just did it this way. And if you do it that way, you're going to be brilliant. And the next time they do it well, their heads are like balloons on their shoulders, because I'm like, well done, John. Well done. That is exactly what I told you to do. Brilliant. And the team are like transforming. It's so easy to learn how to say things right to people. And unfortunately, Amy, a lot of people didn't learn that going back one generation. If you go back 2 or 3, I mean, forget about it, you know? So fear of failure, Brenda. of course, it's who took you by the hand when you were a child and told you how to take that stunning gift that God gave us, the power of imagination. Okay, so watch this, okay? Okay, I'm dropping something from one hand to the other. Now, I could say I dropped a green pen. Am I right? Just type in the chat. Did I drop a green pen? Yes or no? Did I drop a green pen from the top of the screen to the bottom of the screen? Yes or no? Let me know. Was it? What was it? What was it? Was it a green pen? Okay, I'm waiting for the answers to come through. Did I drop a green pen from the screen? No. Mel, you're wrong. I did. Is Mel wrong or am I wrong? Andrew and Mel, you're wrong. Siobhan and Andrew and Mel, you're wrong. I'm right. It was a green pen. It wasn't. What color are you thinking it was? Red, Eilish, no. Esther, what's wrong with all you people, right? You're all wrong and I'm right. So what are you doing? Like, you're reliving a memory. You're using your imagination. You're seeing an image that's not there anymore. But Andrew and Caroline and Claire, all of you guys would agree with each other. Now it's really the numbers are stacking up against me. Every single person that's live saw the red pen, but I'm saying it's a green pen. There you go, it's a red pen. But what are you all agreeing on? You've no proof. Okay, we can go back, we can watch the recording. Your Honor, it's definitely a red pen, and he tricked us and said it was a green pen. Big deal, right? It sounds small, it sounds like a silly game, but all you guys have to go on is an image in your mind. Now, if we've been given the gift of an image in our mind as memory, there's a screen grab somewhere in your mind, there's a screenshot somewhere in your mind that Esther and Mel and Christina and Anna and Lisa and every single one of you would stand side by side, only based on an image that you've seen in your mind. And you would all eventually go, all right, this guy's a nut job. And you'd all walk away from me if I kept down facing you and saying it's green, I don't care what you say. You'd say he's a weirdo and he's gone. Now, I used to do this in live seminars, and you want to feel the discomfort in the room because people are so locked into, no, this is what's right, and that's wrong. But all I'm saying is, yes, of course you're right. Of course, every one of you are right. It was a red pen. There it is. But what I'm saying is, all you guys have to go on is an image in your mind. Now, if we've been given images in our mind of memories, and if we're also given the ability to visualize the future, you know that this did happen. Who are you to say that what you're visualizing cannot happen? Who are you to say that it cannot happen? And that's what's wrong. So Brenda, why? Who took you by the hand as a young girl between the ages of 0 and 7 and told you to keep, like Joni's the only girl now in our house. She's just gone 7, but she's still living in that dream world. She's got all these Our Generation dollies. They all have names. Every Barbie, every, what's the other one? LOL Surprise. They all have names, personalities, different clothes, different everything. Some of them get on with each other, some don't. And once that girl goes into that room and starts playing, it is just, she's in another universe. She's completely lost in her imagination. I shouldn't say lost. She's completely found in her imagination. This house is when this 35-year-old donkey started using the law of attraction. This happened. I tripled my income in the first year as an acupuncturist, afraid to ask for money. Poor self-image, just like you have, Amy, at the moment. I wouldn't say poor, but just not the right image that a guy like me should have had. Great dad, great husband, doing the best I can for my community, for my mom and dad. And I was talking to myself inside repeatedly, you're not good enough. You're never going to get there. They're all going to cancel. And that would happen. 7 acupuncture appointments booked, rainy day, they'd all cancel. I was expecting it and I was getting it, so we're going to get into more of that as the week goes on. But again, who came along to you, Brenda, and sat down with you and said, listen, you are gifted with a beautiful thing called imagination. And all these grown-ups around here, we've kind of lost ours a little bit. And now we're living out of the eyes and what the ears are hearing. We're living from our conscious mind. But you, my dear, you're purely, blissfully living in your subconscious mind. Never lose that gift. In fact, I want you to work on it every day. I want you to visualize the goals you want to have. In my children's bedrooms, there's a vision board in each room. What they want to drive, where they want to live, how they want to contribute, how they want to get on at school, how they want to have their relationships in their families. It's so interesting. Dylan is my son, and he wants to use the law of attraction to end up being a professional football player, soccer player. And he's 9 and he's playing under 12s, and he's really, really good. And so what we did with his vision board was we cut his face out of a picture from Facebook where he was laughing. and we put it on his favorite player's body, Roberto Firmino, Bobby Firmino. So Dylan, there's a video where Firmino runs away with his hands out wide like this, and he's running away, celebrating. And we took his head off and we put Dylan's on. And a couple of weeks ago, Firmino scored a few goals in a game. And the first goal, he just put it to the left, right of the keeper. And the next goal, he rounded the keeper and he did what's called a no-look finish. So he kind of looked away and he kicked the ball into the net. We played Castle Island up in the centre of Kerry, and we won 4-0. And Dylan scored 2 goals and the exact same way. So you want to start really freaking out and having such an exciting time. I was on the sideline and I was laughing. And then we checked the scores when we got home, and Firmino had scored 2. And we checked the goals, and like they weren't identical, but they weren't far off. That you tell me there's no like match up in that. So as I said, it could be as small as my mom coming in and showing us how to play the game better. It could be as life changing as us telling that wonderful girl Amy on how she should do nothing apart from love who she sees in the mirror every day, and change from her awareness of lack of self-confidence into nothing but confidence coursing through her veins and representing herself all around in everything that she does. I guarantee you, Amy, you've got so many friends that would, if they read that, their jaws would hit the floor. I'm sure they think you're super confident, but they don't know what we're hearing, what's going on inside. The thing is, though, you can't fake it on yourself. You can fake it for everybody else, but if you keep living with awareness of things are not working well on the inside, they will repeatedly happen on the outside. And if you think, personal development is an expense or it's a luxury that you can't afford, then look at how expensive it is trying to live a life that you're not happy with. It costs you a lot in confidence, in opportunities, in situations, in growth, in change, in travel, in everything. So it costs you a lot more to stay with these blockages, guys, okay? So Leva, a wonderful lady in Belgium, how are you? Procrastinating and not prioritizing myself and my goal. I'm going to give you no advice, my dear, because we are already on our way, you and me, and I love your goal. And all you need is time. That's it. You're on your way. I've no doubt in my mind about you. You're going to blow all of us away in the academy. You've just got it. Learn behavior. Yeah, Maliki, time to unlearn it. Absolutely. Oh, sure, Maliki, I know you. We met before. I recognize your profile picture. Siobhan, indecision. I think it holds me back. Deciding what to do next job-wise for me and knowing what that is. So, Siobhan, I've given you a little key as to what I was talking to Brenda about. Get into your imagination. Your heart knows something that your mind is confused about. And you're trying to figure this out with your mind, and you're not actually trying to figure it out with your subconscious mind. You're trying to figure it out with your conscious mind, which is, you could yawn your way to making a coffee and a full Irish breakfast. You don't even think about it. Your conscious mind is like, you're like a big meat puppet, like not you, but all of us who are like just walking around. It's so easy. So that's it. Stop using your conscious mind trying to figure out what you're going to do next. Get into your heart of hearts. Get out of your head and get into your heart. The heart has a truth that cuts through the confusion of the mind. Dream it. Figure it out from there and tell us this week what you've decided to do. It's like, boom, stepping out of a dark room, out into a balcony and just going, Ireland, this is what I'm doing with my life. And that's beautiful. And we'll all pick up on that confidence from you. Yeah, Dushan, it's very interesting how many people tend to own that procrastination like they bought it somewhere. Yeah. Hello, Mary. I've started gratitude and it's a good change. Well, do you know why it's a good change? I'll tell you in a sec. I do procrastinate at times and I'm trying to change the behavior, but I find it hard to focus. We're going to explain to you tomorrow why everybody finds it hard to focus. And Mary, if you started with gratitude, oh my God, you started on a great, great place, because gratitude connects us back to God, connects us back to the universe, like our umbilical cords connected us to our mom. Like, I'm not joking you. That is literally if we feel disconnected and that life's not showing us a good opportunity, you get into gratitude and you'll feel like almost like angel wings are wrapping around you. I mean, gratitude is something that is like, I just did 14 days with our academy. It's an antiviral, antifungal, antidepressant, anti-anxiety. It's an incredible thing. So good on you for getting into that. Now, I'd love to read through all of these, guys. I'd love to read through all of these, but I really need to get into the bulk of the lesson today, because we're going to get some good interviews coming on here now in a minute. And yeah, let's get down to it. So, okay. So everybody, we're going straight to one of the keys of absolute life transforming change. So this is one that I want you to kind of use in conclusion. And this is the one I want you to kind of doodle with, okay, this page. So doodle on this one. This is your workbook page, okay? So you see, we try and go the extra mile. We even give you the workbook pages, the rough sketches, okay? So I'm going to share my screen here now. while I'm doing that, let's hear, are you all up to speed? Are you enjoying yourself so far? Can you believe it's already been 49 minutes? Yes, I do take a break sometimes for air. But yes, I hope you're enjoying yourself most of all. Just going to share my screen now. Yeah, it changed. Share screen. How about you click on share screen there, Declan, instead of click on share video file? Okay, so we are going to share this screen here so that my diagram is somewhere a little bit like your diagram. Okay, so I would like you to understand, regardless if it's confidence or if it's money or job change, or you're not in a relationship and you want to get into one, or you're in a relationship and it's not going great, it's getting a bit stale, you're forming these routines, you do this and the person you're in love with does that, and it's just it's getting a bit stale and there's no spark and all that kind of stuff. Whatever you need us for to help you with, we are going to be helping you using this diagram. So we're going straight into it on the first evening because I'm going to be bringing it up a lot during the next couple of days. So somebody said, yes, very good, Declan. Bootsy Evans, what a cool name. Carden, Caroline, good to see you here. She goes, I love that you're so normal and wonderful to see your success. Thank you, Kira. You're a legend. Thank you so much. Tracy, the affirmations help me to think positive for the day. Good. Ashwani, we are being followed all the way from India, but I'm trying to think exactly, not Mumbai. Oh, don't tell me. I want to remember where you're from yourselves. It'll probably come to me as I'm teaching. Oh, it's so good to have you here. These guys in India used to log in and we go on Zoom, and their two children would pop in the background, and it's lovely. I miss them, so it's good to have. I'm so glad you're here with us today. They're just going to do so many great things in India. They're just the best. They're a great couple. They're lovely, lovely people, and we got all involved. Like, we had such fun, like messing with the two of them, and it was great crack. I just so happy to see you here with us tonight, Ashwani and Amar. And say hi to the children, and I wish you all so much good stuff. Right, let's get into this. So I want you to imagine that the big circle on the top is the mind and the little circle is the body. Now, ask yourself, if you've got nervousness before a driving test or an exam or something, where do you feel worry? It's probably in your tummy. Some people it's in the heart, but it's not in the head, is it? It's in the physical body, flutters in the body. When someone says something it's shocking, you heard a shock, you usually go, so you breathe in and you put your hand on your chest. So you're reacting in the body, fear in the body, temper, your blood is boiling from a temperamental situation. But it's happened first in the conscious mind. Ooh, that's not a proper thingy-me-jiggy-me here. Let's get rid of that fella. And let's go back to this one. So it's the old conscious mind, my friends, that letter C. And I want you to make this the subconscious mind. Okay, and then we're going to get this to represent the body. Right, so how did you pick your dinner today? Small little thing. So you got an idea. Well, I have bolognese. Oh, do you know what? It's a bad all night. We make a nice hot curry. What'll we have? It's Monday. We always have stew on a Monday. Oh, no, I prefer fish fingers. Like, whatever it is. So today, while you were multitasking and doing other things, you got an idea. You entertained the idea in the conscious mind. You made the decision. The decision went into the subconscious, and you're like, right, today we're having this dinner. And then with your physical body, you went out and got the stuff, peeled and chopped and sliced and diced and boiled and fried and roasted. And here you go. The result is the dinner you had this evening. Maybe you're having it right now while I'm doing all the work and you're sitting down enjoying yourself. I don't know. But that's it. That is as basic can be. That is it. That is exactly how you're going to change your life if you do exactly what we tell you to do. Conscious mind, subconscious mind, body. But there's a few little caveats here. I think that's how you use the word caveat. Let's just throw it in there. It sounds fancy. So you have, over a long period of time, built up this kind of a residue inside. Now that sounds bad, but this identity, this layer on the inside, Maliki said for him, it was to do with money and maybe other things, because it's not just showing up there, it's probably showing up in other things. We had the lovely Amy. Can everyone text in the group, we love you, Amy, because she says she needs to love herself. If 50-something people can text, we love you, Amy, how much do you think that's going to benefit her to read every single person in this call tonight telling her that she's loved and valued and there's there's more to her than what she's currently thinking about herself. Like, just do that if you wouldn't mind, please. I haven't asked you for much, so I'm asking you to do that. So these are pre-programmed. These are already in there. They're already in there. You know, the lady who, like, I don't know how to change my career or where to go. So this has been built up over time. So you guys don't even need to entertain an idea and take the idea in and ponder it in the little waiting area of the conscious mind, and then take it into the subconscious mind. You're just primed like that all the time, okay? So when you're primed like that all the time, you're constantly taking actions that you don't want and getting results you don't want. You're doing it inadvertently, like you're full on attracting it over and over and over and over and over and over again. And then what are you doing? You're starting to say, what the hell is wrong with me? And that's not your fault. Like, if we can do anything, is hopefully help you to take off that 8 stone of rocks that you're carrying around, blaming yourself for habits that you have right now. You are not responsible for the habits that you have that are totally, like, can you imagine if you, like, it sounds a bit gross, right? But if you took the pipe out from under your sink in your bathroom and you looked into that, it is not clean and clear like it was when the plumber put it in there. Like, we just don't even know what's in there. It doesn't even want to go there. That residue that's built up inside, yes, you can take it out and clean it and get a new pipe, but the mind is a little bit different. It's a lot different. And this layer, this has taken up residency, and it is such a bully boy or bully girl or bully whatever it wants to be. And it is all over your body. It is like, it is constantly in control. If you don't believe me, then I want you to tell me exactly every single moment that you put the clutch in and out today as you drove your car. I want you to tell me every single butter stroke you did when you put butter on your toast this morning. I want you to tell me exactly how you got dressed, every movement your finger did to tie your shoelace, to pull on your socks, to do things in a hurry, like, oh my God, the wallet, the watch, the phone, the whatever else you needed, to put in your, like, you just grabbed everything instinctively. You know, you cannot tell me every single thing you did because it's subconscious, because you're just doing it, like tying your shoelaces, driving your car. You don't even need to think anymore. You're on autopilot with things that you didn't know how to do before. And I'm telling you that your present money situation, your present life situation around your career, your present finances, and all that, they're all here. Let's give them a new color. All those things you can dream about and imagine and want so badly. Remember, I dropped the pen and you all said, Declan, you dropped a red pen. And I was like, no, it's green. That was the old result, right? So that's what you know because you saw it with your eyes. That's the results you keep getting. Those results that you keep getting that you don't want is because you've got this thick layer in the subconscious of, this is all you're ever going to get because this is all you're ever worth. And you never asked for that level of self-worth. You never asked for that level of self-belief. But it's like, it's absolutely written into your, almost like written into your genetics, but it's not, because you can change it a lot more than you can change your genetics, okay? So when we teach you how to smash away that, and you now are going after like a blissful result, then for this to come into reality, for this to really, really be a result that you really, really want, for this beautiful goal to happen, what really needs to happen is we need to help you to get rid of this layer, to really get rid of that layer that's in there and clear it all out. And that's how I've changed my life. That's how my team have changed their lives. Our clients, anyone that you hear from tonight or that you read about, they did this. And you see, I know your paradigm is already saying to you, yeah, but that's hard. It must be hard. How did they do it? You're different. They're special. You can't do it. It's in there because it's not giving up without a fight. This is why Declan said he procrastinates. Nobody wants to procrastinate. Nobody wants to feel that they don't get stuff done. So we need to clear out that old residue and get rid of it, okay? So how do we do that? We are going to teach you this week how to learn how to control, put a letter T up there, your thoughts. T for thoughts. We're going to teach you how to change your feelings, thoughts, feelings, and then actions, okay? And let's, in your rough work, write down here, I often think of this as a little bit of an afterthought. Let's do actions to the power of 2, because there's actually 2 types of actions. There's the physical actions that you get out there and you do it. That's taking your body to somewhere and saying, hi, my name is XYZ, and I want to do something I don't normally do. You know, like you're going asking for an interview or asking for a raise, or, you know, buying a car that you've always wanted, or booking a family holiday that you've been putting off for years because you don't feel you deserve to spend that kind of money on yourself, or whatever it is. That's a physical action. But there's the other action that's constantly working even when you're asleep. And this action is what people say, oh, Declan, I love the law of attraction. This is the action whereby you're sending off these waves of vibration, waves of energy, and you're like attracting people to you. You know, it's measurable nowadays. There's people like Dr. Joe Dispenza. There was a guy called Simeon Curlian photography. He photographed the energy leaving the body. And when they got an actor one time, and they got him to embody the feelings of being like really excited. We had a lady one time on a call, and she embarrassed the hell out of me because there was like 7 or 8 people on the call. And I said, tell us your name, tell us what you do, and tell us one interesting fact about yourself. And there I was, and sitting on the call, and she goes, my interesting fact is that I once had an orgasm in front of 500 people on a stage. And I was absolutely knocked off my chair with like, okay, thank you. Well, she was a great actress because she acted on stage, and she acted so much that she became the part, apparently. So there you go. You didn't know you were going to hear that on this masterclass. But there's people out there that are that talented. You know, they can cry on demand, they can laugh on demand, they can do other things on demand. But this person recorded the waves of energy coming off this person's body when they were acting really happy and really full of gratitude and full of joy. And they were able to stand a couple of meters back and pick up the frequency of the person's body. And then they got the person to act guilty, depressed, shamed, hurt, fearful. And they were able to go right up to the person with the device. And until they got close to them, it didn't make a noise. But because when we take that negative energy, all of it goes inwards, and it turns our vibration down. You know, there's a lovely song. Bruce Springsteen started it when I went to see him one time in concert, and it was, this little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. You know, we sing it as a child in school or maybe in church or the Cub Scouts or whatever. But that's it. You're shining your light when you're living your life with confidence, and when you're going after what you truly want. We're going to talk about that a little bit now. So this is some of the main premise of our class this week, teaching you how to think differently, how to really get into the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and how to take 2 types of actions: the physical actions that you never do because you talk yourself out of it, like Declan said, procrastinating, but also that actions that when you're at home, having a cup of tea and watching a football game or a documentary or something, that money's coming into your account, that people are texting you saying, hey, I got something for you. Just, you know, you're attracting stuff. And hey, I've just been meaning to ask you for years, that I've now plucked up the courage. I've been seeing you in the gym for years, and you fancied them, but next thing they're texting you to say that they want to ask you out. Like all that stuff that you've been keeping from yourself with low-level thinking about the belief and faith that it can happen. We're going to turn that on its head and get you to really open up. And why the hell not? I mean, after 2 years of flipping lockdown, why not just try something different and really live your life with thoughts that you want to think, feelings you want to feel? And what we're going to do is teach you that even if you're in a crowded subway, even if you're in the most negative room with the most negative Nellies, just in a little bitching circle, you can rise above the whole thing and connect to your higher self every time. So it's a bold promise, but if you stick around with us for 2 days, we're going to really show you how to do it a lot. Okay. So now I know my colleagues are probably sitting in the back there waiting for me to stop talking. So I'm done 3 minutes over. I am going to need about another 5 minutes, guys. So if you're nervous about coming on and doing the interview, you've got to be nervous for another 5 minutes. But I'm sure if you're a graduate of the academy, I'm sure your nerves you're all zen and chilled. Anyway, so this is the first diagram. You're going to see 2 envelopes at the bottom. Okay, so what I might do is, if we're running out of time, I might skip those and come back to them. But these 2 envelopes were envelopes that were written by Napoleon Hill in a program he did called The Master Keys to Success. Okay, and he said that when we are born, it's almost like we come over with these 2 sealed envelopes. Okay, these 2 sealed envelopes. Oh yeah, so I see Rosaline, Mike, and Yelena in the background. So thank you for your patience, guys. I'll be with you in a moment. They're well used to this. I started my live call for the clients at 7 this morning, and I thought, okay, like I better fill the time because it's 10 to 7, and I never have to fill time. But I looked at the clock, it was 20 past 8, like an hour and 20 minutes. I was like, I'm sorry, but they never left. They were there. They're obviously having a good time. So anyway, Yes, imagine they listen to this kind of stuff first thing every morning before they get out to work. So you can see why people get results. Okay, so I just want you to start writing here in this section. Napoleon Hill said that we come over with 2 envelopes. Now, obviously we don't. I've been at the birth of my 3 children and there were no envelopes. Okay, but still in all, let's just go with him there, okay? One of them, I want you to label riches. And the other one, I want you to label penalties. Now, in the riches column, I want you to write down the following 6 things as quick as you can because we have to go. The first one is sound health. So if you learn how to control your thoughts, which is what we're going to teach you as much as we can this week, sound health. The second one, peace of mind. The third one, a labor of love of your own choice. I've chosen to leave my life behind. I trained to work in hotels and I chose a labor of love, acupuncture. It wasn't going well for me. And then I got a coach and I fell so in love with what coaching does for people that I decided to become one full time. I did both businesses for 18 months, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, acupuncture, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday coaching. And then when this took over, I said goodbye to something, well, maybe temporarily because I'm really good at acupuncture and I love it. So I miss it. But both of the last 2, this and the previous career, were labors of love of my own choosing. That's in the envelope riches. 1, sound health. 2, peace of mind. 3, a labor of love of your own choice. Number 4, and I think everybody that commented wants this one. Number 4 is freedom from fear and worry. I have had a lot of situations in the last month that would cause an older version of me to go to fear or worry. Not a chance. Not a hope. It's like trying to get a bowling ball into a drinking straw. It is not happening. No way. I will never let worry, doubt, and fear come next or near me ever again. Forget about it. What a waste of my life it was for so long. And I can't wait for you to feel that way as well. Number 5, a positive mental attitude. So these are in the envelopes called riches. Sound health, peace of mind, a labor of love, freedom from fear and worry, and a positive mental attitude. And the 6th one is material riches of your own choice. So material riches of your own choice. Now the envelope, which is marked penalties, these are the penalties that you must pay so the riches you're given for controlling your thoughts, the penalties you must pay for not learning how to control your thoughts are the following. Number 1, ill health. Number 2, fear and worry. You can write these down faster now. Let's go. Number 1, ill health. Number 2, fear and worry. Number 3, indecision and doubt. Now, here's the thing. You know the way Jamie Oliver and Gordon Ramsay and all these guys, they're sprinkling in their ingredients. If you sprinkle in number 3, fear and doubt, indecision and doubt, you go up to the previous 2 and you're going to definitely get fear and worry and ill health. Because ill health is like disharmony in the body. If you're an indecisive person, you're going to be more sick than other people around you. If you're a doubtful person, you're going to be talking yourself out of good things all the time. So the envelope marked penalties, number 1, ill health. Number 2, fear and worry. Number 3, indecision. Number 4, frustration throughout your life. Number 5, poverty and wanting and longing, so always feeling lacking and behind. Number 5, poverty and want. And number 6, he says, is a flock of evil. And the flock of evil is greed, jealousy, anger, hatred, superstition, all these different things, guilt, all these different emotions. Don't even want to talk about them. So you choose the envelope you open. You didn't choose one of them, and it's your time to choose the other one. You want to now put all the other stuff back in an envelope, seal it, burn it, get rid of it, and choose to live. Open up the envelope every day and read how you're going to get sound health, peace of mind, a labor of love of your own choice, freedom from fear and worry, a positive attitude all the time, and material riches of your own choice. Okay, so that's the second to last thing. We want you to do this homework. Okay, so this homework here, I want you to do it, and what I want you to do is take a picture of it, and one of our team are going to post a picture in the group, in the Facebook group, and underneath that picture we want you to comment with a picture of yourself. If you're uncomfortable doing it, just do it, because you're going to be, whoever does the picture, we're going to put all of your names in a hat and pull it out. It's probably going to be a spreadsheet with an automated program that picks the winner rather than a name out of a hat, but there you go. and you're going to get a signed copy of, you're going to get a copy of Think and Grow Rich. It's not a signed copy, a copy of Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And we might have another couple of little surprises along the way. So do the homework. We're incentivizing you to do the homework because with the chance of winning a book, because we want you to do the darn homework. We want people like Declan and Amy and all the other people that commented to start getting the changes, Malachi and Andrew and everybody. We want you to start seeing the changes, and you will if you do this one. So this here is called the MIQ, most important questions. I got it from Mind Valley. And it's about experiences. What experiences do you want to experience? Write down 10 of them. Number 2, growth. What are the areas in your life you want to grow in? Write down 5 of them. And then contribution. Write down 3 of them. So for me, the experiences I want to have is flying my mom and dad and all my family first class to Sydney for Christmas to see the fireworks in Sydney Harbour Bridge, to see my sister, to see my 2 nephews and all that stuff. Okay, there's one experience. How do I visualize that? I visualize my mom going to sleep with the bed totally flat because she's a first-time first class, and then pulling the blankets around her, and she smiles at me. She's so proud of me, and I'm so proud of myself. So that's an experience. That's what stops you procrastinating, guys, when you get emotionally involved with the experiences you want. So experiences, like loads of them. When I signed up for this program, it's there behind me, Thinking into Results, and that's what I teach now. It's one of them anyway. I couldn't imagine that I would have taken my family to, we're Liverpool fans in this house. I hope that doesn't make you all switch off, but we are. Like, to take my children there multiple times, to fly to America for business class, and to do all these things, to take my children into a car showroom and get the keys and have 0 on the kilometers. Years ago, this wasn't possible. And you don't see an awful lot of that from me on social media because, look, all these kind of stuff is great, but I would much prefer that people know it and can apply it, and stay themselves, but just create extraordinary lives. I mean, it would be great for social media if I did all the big showing off and stuff like that, but I'm more turned on by hearing somebody getting the changes that I've gotten. Like, you're going to hear from the people now coming on with Yellen in a minute. You'll be blown away with what they have to tell you. But anyway, list your experiences. Now, the growth, so I want to be more confident. That's growth. I want to be a public speaker. That's growth. I want to be able to run a company. That's growth. So what growth do you need to go through? And then what contributions? So I've got 2 charities, one that I'm going to create myself, and the other one that I'm going to be involved with somebody else. One is for neonatal units, and the other one is for a charity to help, where there's a centre that takes care of women who've had to leave home because of abuse. So it's a centre that's being funded. So I'm going to be part of that one, but the one that I'm creating myself is to help families who didn't expect to end up in neonatal units and did, and that sometimes money can be an issue. So I want to make sure that there's never a question of, if they want to fly someone in from the other side of the world, they can do that. If they need a toothbrush, there's a fund for it. If they need a hotel room for the parents down the road, there's a hotel room. So that's one of my goals in life. That goes into the growth category. So the nice story of taking my mom and dad to Australia goes into the experiences. The contribution is you giving back to the world. So do your homework. Watch the video first, then do your homework tonight, and we'll be back tomorrow. Thank you for your patience, for running over, especially the people in the background here. I want to thank them for their patience. I didn't want to miss some of the things. So I'll bring on Yelena first. So, hey, Yelena, how are you? Is your microphone on? Or it is. Say hello again. I cannot hear you yet, but let's see. Mute you and unmute you. Okay, let's go to Mike. Hello, Mike.
Hi, Declan. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Good. Delighted to be here. Thank you for having me.
Well, I know, man. The gratitude's all on my side, because if anybody is willing to come on and talk about us, we're indebted to you. We're really grateful that you would do this. So thanks so much. And can't be leaving this lovely lady in the back room. Hang on a minute. Bring her in. Rosaline, how are you?
Good, thank you. Thank you. Delighted to be here too.
Good. So Yelena, are you with us? Have you got your audio working?
Is this better now?
Yay!
Hello. Hi, Rosaline. Hi, Mike.
Hi, Yelena.
Hi, Mike.
Hi, Rosaline.
Well, Yelena, Yelena, I have to apologize so much. It's 14 minutes keeping you guys in the waiting room, but I wanted to get through everything and not be like, no, I didn't do the workbook. So everyone, I just want to go away now and let you listen to these wonderful people. I want to thank you all for your enthusiasm in the chat. I want to see every one of the 60 of you back tomorrow, and everybody who's typed replay, try and come to the live session. There's something a little bit different about the live. So I'm going to hand you over to Yelena and Rosaline, and Mike, take it from here. Thanks everybody for watching, and I'm out of here.
Thanks, Declan. Okay, we're gonna have the party now. So guys, welcome. Let me try to. Yeah, there's a little bit of the logo over my head, but that's fine as long as everybody can hear me. So welcome, Mike, and welcome, Rosaline. Really excited to have you both here on the screen with me. So for all of those people who have just joined us, thank you, Declan. You heard me about the logo. So for all of those who have just joined us recently, my name is Yelena. I'm a breakthrough coach here at Declan O'Donnell Consulting, and Mike and Rosaline are members of the Academy. So they have been studying this material and everything that Declan was talking about for the last hour and 15 minutes over time. And they have applied it in their own lives, in personal and professional lives. So the reason why we have them up here today is because we want to hear real stories from real people. And these two wonderful souls will share a little bit about their journey with this law of attraction material and how and what happened when they applied it. So Mike and Rosaline, welcome again. And I will have to go and go back, look at my questions. Otherwise, I'll be talking for another hour here like that, Cliff. So guys, let's start with Rosaline first. Rosaline, you have joined us only a couple of weeks ago. Well, basically, it's been 3 months now. So can you tell me, this question is for both of you, like, what was that calling inside you both that kind of had you you wanted to change something, you wanted something different from the life that you were living at the time. So what was that kind of got you to, look for something else, and, you probably felt there was more to you?
Well, for me, Yelena, I'm a retired nurse, and I'm now a kinesiologist. And Martin and I are both retired. We're both nurses, and we mind our grandchildren. But now one of them is going to preschool and the other's going to creche. We've a bit of extra time, and I had been doing my kinesiology some evenings. But now I feel it's really time for me to start growing my business. And when I started TIR, it was your story I related to, where you said, we become parents, then we kind of lose our bit of independence because obviously we become maternal, and that's our priorities for them. But I think later on we get a second chance to come back to being me again. So for me, TIR was for me. I want now to start again for me. And I know my kinesiology business I know what I do is excellent, and I love it. And I just want to grow it.
I love that.
I'm reaffirming myself with all of those qualities that were there, but I kind of let them go because I was needed more by other people. And now I'm back to me.
Yeah, that's wonderful, and that's just in sync with. I've been in sync with a lot of people lately. You're one of them, and Mike as well. I just commented there during the live video when Declan mentioned fear, and I just commented, like, when was the last time you actually did something for yourself without thinking about what's maybe the most convenient thing or what will others say, and so this is like prioritizing you, and you probably felt it that that potential, that we all have infinite potential, but it just kind of locked in there with everything and all the roles that we take during the life, and we just kind of forget, and we kind of put it to the side, and we hope for the best. But I guess I'm delighted to hear that it was my story that inspired you to go and seek how can you actually bring this gift to the world in even bigger capacity and help others. Mike, we'll move on to your story now. Same question, like, what inspired you to start looking for a change?
To be honest, for me, I would have to say it was sheer desperation. I was actually, at the time, if you remember back on my first call with you, I actually spoke to you in tears. I was actually a broken man at the time. After several years of ill health, I lost my job through my ill health. and everything just for me in my whole life was gone out of control. I had lost all control of my life. I had lost my job. I was physically, mentally, spiritually, everything was broken. I don't know if broken is the right word, but I was just, to be honest, I was at my wit's end and I needed help. I didn't know what to do. I was struggling to get through the day. I would wake up in the morning, first thing in the morning, my heart would be racing. This had gone on for years because I was diagnosed with an ABI, an acquired brain injury, and also with panhypopituitarism, where one or more of the hormones, where more than one of the hormones isn't working. And I was, at the time, I was on a lot of medications and everything. Actually, at the start, I was on 13 medications, and it really, really knocked the life out of me. I needed it because I was very bad. My memory was gone. I had no energy. I was fatigued. I just lost everything. And it had gone on for years and years. And throughout the years, I was always looking for help. I was looking, and I would find ways here and there, and I would try them, and they would go so far. I'd get so far, and then I'd fail again or something. I'd go back. And just when I contacted you, I just needed, after the call, my first call with you, Elena, I remember the call ended and I took a huge breath. It was like I was held underwater. And after speaking with you, it was like somebody just pulled me up out of the water. And I knew this was it. I had spoken one or two prior to that, and it was a little bit of help. It was a little bit of this and that. But I actually didn't know what to do or where to go. And I spoke with you, and it was just when you actually allowed me into the group for one, you probably saw how broken I was. You actually allowed me into the group as a non-member at the time to see the classes, to join the classes that would benefit me. And from that moment on, just everything changed for me. I worked through, I had come off a lot of the medications with my endocrinologist, but they were still really, really affecting me, my joints, my energy, everything. And I wanted to get away from them. I felt they had fulfilled their purpose and I needed to get away. And I had tried it on 2 occasions. And there was a little bit of doubt put into my mind through my results and that as well. And I went back on the medication, the final one, which was a really, really high-tech, strong one. And I went back on it. But before I had spoke with you, I had again come off it because something in me was telling me, I have enough. Now it's my time to work. But I had been told that they were for life, that the damage that was done, that was irreversible. But I don't know. There was something in me, some spark in me that told me I have to get my life back. I had young children, beautiful wife. I had everything going for me at the time. Before I lost my job, I had a great job. But I always knew that would be there for me again. Just something kept telling me. And I joined with you. And from that day forward, my life just started changing. It was like the light at the end of the tunnel. I could just see it. And into maybe 3-4 months into the TIR, a lot of things changed again in my life and went upside down. And my hormones again did decrease and things went backward for me. But I have to say, from what I had learned only in the first few months, I would say it in the first few weeks, brought me through it. It took me a while, I went back to my endocrinologist to carry out the test, and I had to tell her I had stopped the medication. She wasn't very pleased with me because, and I can understand, because of what I had gone through, the illness I had. Textbook would be, I'm on this for life. And I said,
Mm.
no, sorry. I said, I can believe I can get myself back to where I was without it. And she didn't do the tests for me because I refused to go back on the medication. So at that time, I had been waiting for over 2.5 years for uh, another endocrinologist who had a huge waiting list, just very popular one. And I actually then went back to my GP, and I had an excuse to make an emergency appointment. Not an excuse; it was genuine reason. I felt I was dropping, and I couldn't get the test done. And I told him the truth on everything, that I had finished the medication. It was actually the third time, my third time doing it. And I told him what I wanted to do. And I said, I said, I've done it twice. I said, and I have slipped. But I said, now, I said, I have what I need, which is this, what I need. I've learned what was missing, how the desire, the want. I wanted it, but I had to feel it, see it, and live it, that I had my health back. And fair play to him. He 100%. He says, we'll get your full pituitary panel done straight away. He said, we'll get them checked out. We'll see where you are. And he did, and he had the results back. They take a little bit of time. They take 2 months because it's a really rare disorder, and they have to go to the UK to be tested. So they came back, and he said that they were low. And he said, I would like you to go. And I said, please, before you start, I said, can you give me another few months and redo the tests for me? And I dropped everything. I just put everything, all my focus into my hormones. I actually listened to binaural beats and everything along with TIR. I did everything in my power to get it back. And I started feeling better again because I know myself. I get social anxiety, I get anxious, I get stressed when it dips. And I felt I was getting better. He sent out the message to come in for the tests. I went back in for the tests. He redone them. It was actually this year because it takes ages. And it took nearly 6 months before he could redo them for me to bring the level up because it's a very slow process. And I was actually in at the end of May this year, and he had the last full set of the pituitary panel. And for a man of my age, every one of my results, every one of my hormones was above the level that it should have been. And he was actually looking at me. I think he thought maybe I was taking something else, but it wasn't. I actually manifested it. I believed it and I felt it. And before that, I couldn't even walk. I go up the stairs and I'd be out of breath. I'm actually getting a little bit overwhelmed here now because I remember when I joined, I could not in the morning on the 6 a.m. club put on my camera. And to be sitting here today, in this interview, speaking, no nerves, no nothing. I wake up in the morning and just first thing out of my mouth is thank you. Every single day is just thank you for this, that. I could go on and go on before I even take my head off the pillow, before I move, the minute I open my eyes. A year and a half ago, I used to wake up in the morning before the alarm clock with my heart racing, out of breath, panicking, even during the lockdown, doing the homework with the children in 2020. I was overwhelmed. I couldn't handle it. I couldn't function. I just could not get by. Now I have my health, back. I'm not saying I'm 100%. I'm closer to it than I have been in 12 years. But every day is improving. I'm a work in progress, but this is my focus, and I know I have other goals now as well, and that's how I got chatting with Yelena again lately, because I'm so happy with where I am now. I'm ready to look at bigger and more stuff, and but that's basically my story.
Oh wow, Mike. you both know that I'm quite emotional, and I think everybody knows it by now. Whoever watched my interview, so like, wow, Mike, like, where do I even start? One thing I want to say is that you just said something very important at the very start. You said you were kind of desperate, and although it's very, it's hard to say that, it's a hard pill to swallow. But again, we appreciate your honesty here, because people change, they come either from inspiration or desperation, and unfortunately too many people wait for themselves to get sick to get better. And that's exactly what we're hoping to help, people be aware that you don't have to be sick to get better. Don't wait for that. Don't wait for that, because then it's much, much harder to go to where you want to be. Declan mentioned again in this live video today how the law of attraction, we talk about attracting what you want into your life, but basically applying this information on, how you control your thoughts to create the life that you want, not only for a career, not only for money. We're talking about health here. We're talking about your Rosaline's purpose, fulfillment, finding your path, right? And what comes next, you just brought it in perfectly. You achieved, like you're like you said, we're all, a masterpiece and a work in progress at the same time. But now when you feel good enough and strong enough, you're considering, business opportunities and increasing your income and building something much, much bigger. So it can be applied for anything. And now you have used this information to like, your transformation is absolutely incredible, almost miraculous, I would say. The power of your mind, how you use your thoughts to create a well-being. And you mentioned, on our call the other day, you mentioned your relationship with family and parenting and everything else, how it's all falling into place. And now it's like, okay, what else can we use this information for? So thank you, Mike, so much for doing this for all of us. And for your honesty here as well. And yeah, it's incredible. I remember our call very well. It was, Jesus, 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, something like
Year and a
that.
half.
Time flies. And I was on my way home. I think I was in Tralee shopping, and you called me because we had our call booked. And to be honest, it wasn't in my calendar. And you called me up, and I was walking home, and I said, I'll be home in 5 minutes. And I rang you then, and we went on another chat, and then you decided to kind of move into this. And it's absolutely incredible to hear stories like this, guys. And I know that your words will inspire so many people out there to sit down and actually ask themselves, what else can I do with my life? Am I doing the best I can? And why not? Why am I settling for not being the best version? Doesn't matter if it's health, doesn't matter if it's relationships, doesn't matter if it's career and income, or health and fitness levels. Why are you not the best version? Why are you settling for less than what you can be? Because we're this source of infinite potential. So we just have to tap into it with the right systems, with the right keys, and then we can create extraordinary things like you have created. So thank you again, Mike, for sharing this story. I think it has touched so many souls tonight, and hopefully inspire them to consider what else can they do for themselves. So going back to Rosaline, what have been the changes kind of that you have noticed since you started studying this material? So, in your own life, but obviously in your environment, because we're just, our environment is just a looking glass, and it's a reflection of what's happening inside. So can you tell me a little bit about the changes that you have experienced?
Well, I think, Elena, I was pleasantly surprised. You might be thinking, where are you going to get the time to do this? So I was really pleasantly surprised that it was early in the morning. And Declan's, affirmation, my days are long and slow, filled with precious moments, and I found myself, extremely happy. That is just so true. And it's mostly because you're up at 10 to 6. So you have a bit longer in the day. But it becomes such a beautiful habit. And so if you can do, it'll change for you as you progress in TIR on, what you decide is really resonating with you to do in the morning, and whether it's your worksheets then or maybe later. But those 2 hours in the morning they just, with your gratitude, like Mike said, on the pillow in the morning, as soon as you wake up, you say, thank you, thank you, thank you, just for a good night's sleep. I'm really grateful. When you're
Yeah.
menopausal, you're really grateful. And
And being a mom and running a business and everything
yeah,
else, right?
yeah. And the simplest things, but then everything around you seems much more simple, much
Mm.
more calm. Everything just seems easier. And the more you practice it, the more it becomes a good habit. And the more it's a good habit and you feel really good, you have a beautiful vicious circle of positivity going on all of the time.
Mm.
It's yeah. Um, so that's I can see it. It just everything just seems easier to me. I could say and nicer and calmer. And then I suppose from do you want me to talk about what in I suppose what I needed to do?
I actually want to bring something up. I didn't tell you I'm going to do this, but you recently hosted a course. You
I did.
recently hosted a course, and your attitude was absolutely incredible with that. And I don't know if you remember when we were kind of messaging back and forth. I did say, like, Rosalind, you have a 10 out of 10 attitude when it comes to this course right now, because there's going to be, like Declan said, so many situations in our life when things are not going to go the way we want them to. And yet we put the best intention. And with a 10 out of 10 attitude, we deal with it. And then at the end, it was a wonderful day for you and the rest of the people who attended. And you told me how much you enjoyed it. So can you tell me a little bit more about how maybe, this is a confidence thing and self-belief as well, not only the attitude. So can you tell me just a little bit about that? How has that changed for you?
So when see for the masterclass and it was coming near the end and about your points and stuff, and I had down indecision and doubt and fear, like, and Declan comes in and he goes, these are the three worst things, and I'm going, oh my God, I'm doomed. But when I got to lesson 7, trample the terror barrier, that was me. That was me. I didn't understand fear. I didn't understand that it's good and bad. It's just not bad all the time. It's how you make it. So I changed in that whole week's lesson. I was able to change my fear to faith. Now
Mm.
I know where the fear came from. Definitely came from my mother's genes, which came from her mother's genes for sure. There was always fear and worry most of the
Mm.
time. Even though I didn't think I had it, I actually didn't have it until I became a parent.
Mhm.
I was
I,
really
I
carefree
understand that. Yeah.
yeah, before that. But by the end of that week, I was able to write down, I'm so happy and grateful that now I understand fear and I
Mm.
release its negative subconscious hold on me and I embrace its positive enhancing power. So from then, Yelena, and coming up to my course, there was times when I was thinking, oh God, oh God, oh God. I was just able to change my fear to faith,
Mm.
just this unwavering faith that you hear about, and it changed my whole outlook on and my attitude
Mm.
because if I may say as well, one of my biggest problems was as well being a nurse. I always felt I should be able to help people or even be in control of their sickness, particularly when it was family and friends.
Mm.
And it was so hard for me to see somebody suffer and I couldn't help them. That was a major stress, which has come into the frame of our family at the moment, as in my sister's husband. But I can deal with it so much more calmly now. It's not eating away at me because I've no control. I'm
Mm.
just so much more calmer and more effective because of that calmness.
That
So
brings me back to sorry for interruption. You said something very important in the when I asked you the previous question. You mentioned how everything seems much easier now. So whatever happens, it's like you have a better understanding. And would you agree that this is because basically what you've been studying for the last number of weeks is you've been studying yourself the way you're thinking, the way you're feeling. Where is this fear coming from? And once you start to understand your own paradigms, your own belief system, your own fears and doubts and worries, and why you feel them, it's like you can understand other people as good. You know, it's like you see right through their fears and you understand their paradigms and why they do things.
Can I just add one more thing? Sorry, Magda, if I'm going on.
No, tell us.
So I have acquired the most amazing social media person. She's unbelievable. Elaine, I was going to a match one night, and I know just because now that I'm more present on social media because of you, and I've noticed the way people are saying, "Hello, Rosalind," really different, as if, "Oh God, the stuff you're putting up is really good." They didn't say that to me, but I felt it. I felt it in my heart that they were saying to me, "Hi, Rosalind," It's so lovely.
They're just a reflection of your new self-image, Rosaline. That's all it is. Just like, there's I used to teach Zumba classes, and I would come to my classes and I would put this brave face on and I would smile and be there for them and act like everything is fine. But on the inside, I felt completely crap, like, because my income was very low. Dushan was working long hours. I had a 1-year-old that I just left with a babysitter, and I still showed up. And what happened eventually is that my inner self-image, that was quite poor, it became represented in my class, as in people were not showing up. They were, not even texting me for canceling. My landlords, where I was renting the gym, they would just kick me out. Like, it was getting worse and worse. And I'll never forget, I used to run this group, Fit Moms, and the group all of a sudden fell apart because the women just started, it was messy. And Declan is like, "Go back to the attitude lesson." And I swear to God, like, he always tells that to me, "Go back to the attitude lesson." It's just your own attitude towards the world. People feel that. It's all a vibration. And what you're doing right now and every single day, when you're studying yourself and reading good things that are helping you stay in control of your thoughts, you are raising your vibration to this level where, you're aligned with your goal, and your ultimate goal is to help people and to be there for them and so on. And that's what they feel. So they are sending those vibes back to you. It's just a mirror of how you feel about yourself, So this goes back to you. So clap for you, Rosaline, for your new self-image. It's very calm and patient and loving, and it's just beautiful to see your growth.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
So
Thank you.
I'll try
Thank
to
you,
stay in
Elaine.
the time. Thank you. I'll try to stay in the time frame that Declan gave us, although he was over time, so we might go a bit as well. So my last question would be, well, actually, I want to go back to Mike quickly, because you did mention certain changes in your life, but is there something else that you want to mention? Like, what is the one thing that improved most of all? Like, is it the confidence, the belief, the attitude? Like, how do you make decisions maybe differently compared to 2 years ago?
I actually make decisions. That's
Yeah,
huge.
that's good for the start.
Back then I couldn't. I was afraid of the fear, and Rosaline mentioned there the fear, the terror barrier. That was one for me as well. I was afraid of my own shadow. I was so indecisive. I couldn't make a decision. I couldn't, but now I make a decision, I take action, I do it, and I see it through. And I think, as well as the terror barrier, for me, I think the responsibility article at the end of The Infinite Mind, number 3, that for me, I think, stands out to this day, because it's a simple article, but when you read it, I actually think I read it 5 times the first time I came onto it, because it's so crystal clear of what you actually can do if you stop and take responsibility of everything, And even Declan said it the other day. I heard him saying that you're either selfish or self-obsessed. And that time I was self-obsessed. I was blaming everybody for everything. I was doing everything for everybody, and I was blaming my environment. I remember when I started, I was blaming my environment. Everybody around me was wrong. But
Yeah.
straight away, when I saw that article, it says, it's actually, what is it? I am responsible for my life, for my feelings, for my personal growth, and for every result I get. And that's it. Every result I get, I am responsible. My environment wasn't my problem. My environment was a result of me. I can see crystal clear now. Once I started changing, everything around me changed as well. And it's still changing because I'm not perfect, but I'm working on getting there and everything is improving. But everything I thought was wrong around me was my view, my approach to it, my outlook on it. And just to stop and take responsibility and make the decisions and do it and see it through. And to this day, I don't know, every time that responsibility article, I just love it. And there was one other part of it. Oh yeah, to win big in life, take responsibility and create your own destiny. There it is, like your goal is your destiny. You create your goal, you make it, you see it through, you take responsibility, you want it, grab it and go after it. You know, there was always something missing for me. And once I found TIR, it was like putting a sat nav in the car. You know, you can, and there is days, I'd be lying if I said any different. Actually, every day, there's not something I correct myself on, because once you learn this material, you can't unlearn it. And you get very quick at clicking, copying yourself if you're slipping, if you're getting narky, if your
Yeah.
attitude, and the attitude as well is one for me I have to watch all the time. Because when I came into this, you know, my in fairness, my attitude stank, to be honest. And I think you said it there a while ago as well. If you don't look at it properly, you know, and approach things properly or use it properly, you can bring ill health. Prior to this, I focused on money, I focused on work and jobs, got all the jobs I wanted, got all the promotions I wanted, went after the salaries, got the salaries, but at the cost of my own health. And now that I see from TIR, everything you do is a perfect balance. I'll even say more than a balance, because you actually put yourself and your family and everything before the work, like, you know, because the work becomes routine and whatever, like, and, you know, and fitness, all of it. It's just a perfect balance. You learn from it. Well, I did. I did anyway, because it was something that was missing in my life,
Yeah.
was balance. And now I can say that I have that balance, like, and I focus on it every day to keep it.
Love it. I love that you mentioned responsibility. I once read, I think it's a quote, I'm not sure. Responsibility breeds empowerment. So what happened to you? And I was also blaming a lot of things in my life. And when I took responsibility, it's like you become empowered to do things. Like you said, you put it down and you go after it, because you're like, okay, this is on me. It's down to me, because nobody can make you think about the things that you don't want to think about. So, like you said, you're a creator of your own destiny. And if you don't take that responsibility and make the decisions and make the choices, the world will make them for you. And that's why people get into places where they're unhappy and stuck, and they're like, what else can I, what can I do now? So you have to choose wisely. Like before, it's never too late really, but you don't want to get into that place where you're so far, far from the top, and you just don't even feel the need to take that responsibility on, because I think that's the worst, when you get into that victim mode. So you have to snap yourself out of that, because time is flying, and life is too short to blame circumstances and other people. You have to take that responsibility on and make things happen. So I love that you brought that, Mike. And it's a hard pill to swallow, again, responsibility, that it's down to you, but it is what it is. People who are ready to change and experience extraordinary results, they have to be willing to do the things that failures are not willing to do, as we would say. My last question for tonight, just briefly, what is your favorite lesson? I think, Mike, you just said actually that it's the responsibility article. So, Rosaline, what would be your favorite lesson that you have learned? It could be from Bob or Declan. anything that happened in
It
your
definitely
territory?
was trampling the fear barrier, because now just my understanding of it. And I mean, Yelena, a young retired nurse, and I done kinesiology. My course covered an awful lot of the stuff, but I still didn't trample that fear barrier until I done TIR. And it was because I got a new understanding and awareness of it. I no longer see it as a terrible thing at all. I know now where there's a place for it, and I'm just able to put it in its right place where I can still have peace and calmness of mind whenever any fears come up. I just feel much more. Don't like using the word control, because that was my problem when it comes to sickness. But just can cope with it a lot better. And because of that calmness of mind, it makes the whole situation just so much better.
Fantastic. I love it.
That was, definitely the fear one has been amazing.
Yeah, fear is.
I loved them all. I loved every lesson. People were saying, "What do you think?" And I said, "God, I'm just loving this as it goes on and on and on. I just wanted more and more and more."
And the thing is, how you kind of go back over a couple over lessons a couple of times. It's like you're not the same person. People watching this, they're not going to be the same people like 2 hours from now, because they're going to sit and think about what they heard, and they'll, I hope they're going to ask themselves, like, what is fear preventing me from going after in my life, or how is fear stopping me? Because we have to ask ourselves those questions. That's how we get this understanding of where we could be if we change certain things. So definitely fear is huge factor. It's a huge thief of joy, just like comparison, right? It's a thief of joy, and it stops us from living our potential. So guys, we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been such a pleasure, and I'm so happy that I got the two of you together. It's like a year and a half apart, two different students, but so much in common, actually, and wonderful energy. So thank you. I'm going to let you go back now to your families. Again, I really appreciate this, and I hope everybody enjoyed it. I know they did. So show some love for Mike and Rosaline in your comments. I cannot see them because I'm not on my phone now. But thanks, guys. We're going to close off this meeting. I'll be posting a post about the homework. So please, whoever is watching this, let us know if you're live or replay, and do your homework. If you don't have your workbook yet, please let us know in the comments, because otherwise you won't be able to do the homework. And this is the best way you can actually start experiencing the changes in only 3 days if you do the work. Like Mike and Rosaline have been very good students, and we're doing their homeworks and getting up early. So thank you guys again, and have a wonderful evening. We'll see you
Thank you,
tomorrow, 7
Elena.
p.m.
Bye.
Bye.
See you, man. Thanks.